players penalties that have been called on the defense and what they've done. And, like, we're not doing
you just
that.
have to be, like, this is one of those things, man. Going into the game, in all honesty, you just have to be smart. Say, hey, I know that there's probably going to be some favoritism from Patrick Mahomes. If you feel like it's going to be a late hit, don't hit it. Do everything that you can in your power to do everything between the whistles. And if it feels like it's going to be outside the whistle or he's going to grandstand or something like that, don't do it. That's easy. That's easy to do. I mean,
all right. Number one, forget Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? As the young boys say, Mahomes, what they say, young Mahomes K. Forget Andy Reid. You know what I mean? Forget Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, all that nonsense. Forget all that. But at any rate, man, what's going on, you two Flying Speaks, man? You know what it is. We back. So WIP right now, for those who don't know, is a local radio station, sports radio station that covers the Eagles and Sixers, Flyers, Phillies, etc. On the afternoon show, they're spinning, or the early morning show, the late morning show. They're spinning this whole time, spending it, talking about whether or not the refs, should the Eagles fans fear that the refs will be on the Chiefs' side, which is an interesting topic, for those who watch football closely. Everybody know, something's going on, and generally when there's smoke, there's fire. Something's up, But these guys, what gets me is Hugh Douglas, the former Eagles defensive end, as well as a guy named Joe Giglio, who just, a local talking head. They're speaking on this because it's become a thing around the country, so much so that Travis Kelce had to speak about it last night during the media day. That's how bad it's gotten. And his whole response to me, in my opinion, was trash. Where he says, why are the refs leaning into the ref thing, or why the media leading into it, or why Roger Goodell? Because Roger Goodell had put out a statement about it. Now listen, I'm not one of these people, man, that goes out there and believes like teams are winning only because of refs or anything like that. Even what happened to the Eagles. More people nationally believe the Eagles were jobbed, in my opinion, in 2022 than a lot of us locally. A lot of us locally, we just blame James Bradbury, especially when you talk about that one call. Now, I don't like the fact that you had officials who let Bradbury get away with playing that whole way all game. Then all of a sudden you want to wait till it's third down, to do that. That's the shit I don't like. Just make it clear. Technically, Bradbury did hold Schuster. So at the end of the day, I'm going to be like, all right, if Bradbury doesn't do that or avoids that, you would think that, it's not called. You would think. I don't know, honestly. There's been times where there was not a hold at all, and it gets called. But, Bradbury did enough for the call to be legit. So I'll never go that far with that one. However, when it's a situation where you have fans and fan after fan and team after team, and then you got players complaining about something like that, man. To me, it would be naive to sit up there and just act like there's nothing going on. Because I'm not the type, man, though I'm not a conspiracy theorist type of person. I don't do none of that shit. But I'm also not a guy that's going to deny something that's happening right in front of me. God gave us, the Most High gave us these senses for a reason. Eyesight, ear, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling, for a reason. And that's to inform us about the world. And when things happen in front of my eyes, consistently. And then you got stats out there that show that the Chiefs are by far the beneficiary of calls from the refs that benefit them more than other teams. Like, that's just a fact now. So now what you're doing is when you try to argue that, you know, the refs' impact on the game is overblown and all of that, now what you're doing is you're just denying facts. You know, and that's the part about it that I don't like. Now, these guys are trying to argue. They're spending their whole time trying to find a way to say that, you know, they don't believe that refs are doing it on purpose, you know, but maybe inside of them, because they're human, they may have an affinity towards Patrick Mahomes because he's the star and the face of the league and all this other bullshit, right? And that because they might have a natural affinity, then it's just something that's happening. It's not like, you know, what is this argument? First of all, whether or not is the refs doing it on purpose or not, it's still wrong. Because Eagles players and Eagles fans and the Eagles organization should not be considered more valuable in the eyes of the NFL than the Chiefs organization. Those fans who are paying their money to go watch the Eagles shouldn't be considered less important than fans that are going to Arrowhead to watch the Chiefs. People who are spending their money on Eagles paraphernalia shouldn't be considered less important than people who are spending money on Chiefs paraphernalia. And this goes for any team, whether it's Buffalo, whether it's Baltimore, whether it's whoever, right? So that old argument, that's just some BS. That's unacceptable. So now, okay, it goes from whether it's being done based on like something, what do you call that, like evil or insidious or whatever, or if it's incompetence, it's still a problem. It's still a problem. Right? I heard this dude, Hugh Douglas, trying to make an excuse. Well, maybe the Chiefs are better at holding and stuff like that because they, you know, the argument was, I know T.O. was arguing that when they played the 49ers, they were getting away with man holding calls that they don't call against the Chiefs, that they weren't the recipient of an offensive holding call for a long time. You know, and they try to defend that, saying, well, maybe the Chiefs are better at holding in a way where they're not caught. Like, yo, why are you doing Philadelphia radio arguing and all this stuff in order to defend the damn Chiefs? I don't understand that. I don't understand that, man. Like, y'all need to bring in some people, man, that are just going to do a better job on these radio waves, man, on these airwaves. You know, I'm not feeling that at all. Now, as far as the game and the Chiefs and all of that, listen, man, like, I'm telling you right now, if I feel like the refs impacted this game in such a way, like I'm the type, I'll just stop watching. Like, I don't have time for it. Like, I love football, I love the Eagles, I love all of that, but I don't have time for BS. I could spend my time doing something much more productive, to be honest with you. You know, like, I'm assuming that I'm spending my time watching something that has some integrity. You know, I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. It's like, what are we doing? Like, you mean my fandom is less important than somebody who's rooting for the Chiefs? You know what I mean? What are we doing? And then number two, this idea of the face of the league thing, man. I think really the league, as well as other leagues, man, they got to find a better way to do that, man. Like, why is it this dichotomy or this setup with the one face of the league person bullshit, instead of having faces of the league, which is the teams, which is the game itself, Why are you like promoting one person like that, man? Like Patrick Mahomes, yes, he's great. Yes, he's entertaining to watch, all of that. He's not the only entertaining player to watch. He's not the only great attraction to this league. What about Saquon Barkley busting 50 and 60-yard runs every week? That's not something that the NFL should promote, or back. It's not something amazing. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. What about Lamar? How entertaining he is. Burrow, Allen, or whatever. Like, why would the league favor one dude? If that's really what they're doing, that's a horrible strategy. It's a horrible strategy. This idea that, okay, the Chiefs winning a three-peat is better for business, so the league will want that. I don't know if I agree with that, John, because if you really think about it, Chiefs constantly winning, more than anything, is just going to build fatigue and animosity. Half of the fans are going to just you were supporting them at first because, there's entertaining and all of that. But then when it starts becoming stupid, now it's becoming a thing where they're winning and they're the beneficiary of all these third down calls. It's like you're going to just build animosity, number one, for the Chiefs, for the league, for the game. And then also, for that player. What's better, that the Chiefs going on and just beating everybody, winning 3 straight? Or is it better that the Chiefs actually have an adversary? Like, let's say the Philadelphia Eagles, they go, and the Chiefs go. The first time they face each other, the Chiefs won. Okay, cool. And then the second time they face each other, the Eagles win. Right? And then now, what are we doing? We're hoping that we can get a third matchup. And I know people that aren't Philly fans or aren't Chiefs fans probably not interested in that at all. But I'm just saying, for the sake of this discussion, which is a better and more compelling story? Like, go back to what was considered probably the greatest trilogy, or one of the greatest, probably the greatest trilogy in the history of boxing, which is between, the great Muhammad Ali, rahimahullah, and the great Joe Frazier. When they fought. First time they fought, Ali just coming out of jail. Frazier was the new guy on the block now. They fight. Frazier had to prove he really belonged, especially after he got rocked by George Foreman. That was one of the funniest fights ever. You never saw that Foreman-Frazier, that joint, man. But anyway, so Frazier wins the first one, which gave him straight legitimacy. He beat Muhammad Ali, who was at that time undefeated. And then what happened? Ali wins the second one. I believe it was at Madison Square Garden, if I'm not mistaken. He wins the second one. This builds up for the Thriller in Manila, which they do over in Africa. You see what I'm saying? So, would it have been better for Muhammad Ali just beat Frazier and beat Foreman and beat everybody and this and that? Or do you have him going there with a guy that has beat him before, which raises the stakes and the interest, and even of those who are into betting, makes betting better. Which makes more sense. I believe that it would be better that the Chiefs are part of a trilogy, that they lose sometimes. I mean, business-wise, in the NFL, I think that's best for business. You think about what had happened with the Cowboys and the Steelers in the 70s. You look at the fan base that grew. These were probably in the 70s, this probably grew two of the biggest fan bases, in the country. What Dallas was doing. The Steelers went 4, but I believe they played each other a few times in the 70s, the Super Bowl met up. Super Bowl 9 or 10, I believe, the first time the Cowboys and Steelers met each other. I believe it was Pittsburgh's second Super Bowl. That was deemed the greatest Super Bowl of all time at the time. It should be a little back and forth, man. I would hate, man. I would be really disappointed And not just because the Eagles lose. Well, first, I would be disappointed if the Eagles lose. As far as I'm concerned, the Eagles have to win this game, man. They have to win this game. I know, for one, I'm tired of, going to Super Bowls and losing them. The Eagles do that way too much for me. Way too much, man. You got the better team. I don't know that you could put together a roster better than this one right here, right now. Because, you got a first-team All-Pro middle linebacker. You got Nakobe Dean, who was balling as a linebacker. His replacement is handling his business, Burks. You got your secondary, and that's good. We could figure maybe you have most of these guys next season, but see, what happens with next season is you can't guarantee the health. You can't guarantee the health, and that's going to be the next challenge, right? So the Eagles have to win this game. They have to win this game, bro. Ain't no two ways about it. Ain't no two ways about it, man. And to be honest with you, I think it's to the point where most of the country is probably pulling for the Eagles, to win the game, man. People tired of the Chiefs, bro. Like, people tired of them, man. Even Patrick Mahomes, he tired of his ass, man. Flopping and getting the calls running out of bounds. Like, come on, man. And if they're going to win, man, let them win because they just great. They just went out there and handled their business, man. Don't let them win, man, because it looked like the NFL was helping, man. That's not a good look, bro. That's not a good look, man. That would just be really bad, if the Chiefs won on some type of BS like that, man. You know what I'm saying? So, look forward to the game, bro. We'll probably be going live later. I know I keep saying that in these videos. It keep not happening. I'm sorry, man. I'm a busy man. Got a lot going on, man. But we will be going live, so I'm going to let y'all know, man. I just gave my little 2 cents on that right there. You feel me? So I'll get with y'all later. Peace out.